Hey guys, welcome to DevOpsSchool. These days, everything is happening in the cloud. Cloud computing is a big shift from traditional way businesses think about IT resources, and Amazon Web Services is the world's broadly adopted cloud platform. So today, we are going to learn about AWS. But before we begin, let me inform you a few things about us. DevOps School is one of the leading platforms which offers DevOps, cloud and containers technology training and certification programs for freshers and established professionals who wish to update and consolidate their skills in the dynamic IT scenario. We ensure that the training solutions are delivered by highly experienced domain experts with practical working experience in various verticals. You can join our all training programs globally through online platforms, and if you're looking for classroom workshop, then we have regular batches available in Hyderabad and Bangalore. Check out the dates and enroll with us for our upcoming batches. For more info, link and contact details are mentioned in the description below.
Going to practical. Before that, let's first talk about the traditional approach, and then we will see the difference between cloud computing and the normal traditional approach. Okay, so say an example, you have a company, and that company is, say an example, a small company where you need 10 systems. Okay, so you need 10 servers to maintain your infrastructure. And to maintain this 10 server, you need one admin, one sysadmin, right? Who can do the administration of your 10 servers. Because there is a networking, you can think that okay, this system administrator is system administrator plus network engineer. You need probably one or two developers who are basically writing the code for your application. You need an office or where you will place these servers. So I would say you need one office, at least one room, I will say, one big room, okay, which is having a good ventilation. And for that, you need one office as well, where you can interact with the people. You need some other, uh, you know, resources in your for your office maintenance. We can say staff. So at least you need two people in the staff who can manage. Okay. So this is the thing which you need when you have 10 systems. But say an example, you have 100 systems. Now you want to manage the 100 systems. For 100 system, at least you need 4 to 5 or maybe less. You can say I need 3 system engineer, and I will say at least 2 to 3 network engineer. I need for 100 servers, probably I need at least 5 rooms. I need a building, right? I need a big office, right? A big office where you need to pay the rent or you need to buy it. And you need at least some staff members, says 10 staff members. Okay, because now your business is growing. And this thing will keep changing when the demand is more. So if we talk about 10 or 100 server, this is we call a small level of business. Okay, it's you cannot say means 100 servers you can say up to medium level of business, but 10 servers is a small level of business. And whenever we are talking about how much money we need to spend for that, means if you are the owner of this company, you need to spend a lot of money, right? You need to pay to these 3 system engineers, and if I talk about Indian currency, then per engineer you are paying 150,000 dollar, not dollar, rupees, okay, per month minimum, okay. And if it is 3, you need to pay 450,000 rupees. Similar way, if I developer is a separate case, if I talk about the 5 rooms and per room you are paying, say an example, uh, minimum it will be 100,000. So I'm saying 5 rooms, it means I need 500,000 rupees per month. Big office, so big office is means you are paying, say an example, similar way, 100,000. Okay, and for staff members you are paying somewhere, say, I'm just giving some, it's not a real figure, but it is something which is means we can imagine. So here you can see it is 450, 950, and it is more than 1 million rupees you are spending per month, right? Now, can I reduce this cost? Because as a owner, even though, say an example, your business is 2 million or 3 million rupees per month, even though you want this, the expense which I am doing, how can I reduce? And if it is not going in profit, definitely you need something where you can reduce the cost for your expense. In that case, you will approach to the cloud computing. So here now you are going to the cloud computing. In cloud computing, what you can do, instead of five numbers here, you can go with one system engineer. S- System engineer means who can work on system as well as on network part, or maximum you can say one system and one network engineer. But network engineer importance is not that much as the system engineers have. So system engineers most probably they know about the networking as well. So maximum you need one or maximum two people here. It means the cost which was 5 times here, actually I here it will be 5, so it should be multiplied by 5. So it is 750. So which is 750, now you can make it is 300 rupees, 300,000 rupees. Okay. You don't need rooms because everything is on cloud. The data centers, these are on the cloud. Means you need not to maintain any office for that. Okay. So this is means 5 rooms, that cost is automatically it will be, it will be reduced. Big office, you don't need the big office because you you need not to big office is basically if you have servers, you have maintenance, you have staffs. So because your staff is reduced, so you can, you know, almost half of the amount you can save it here. So total it will be 100,000 rupees. So which is almost 1.5 million per month. Now it reduced to 400,000 rupees per month. So which is a very much, it's a very big difference between without cloud computing and with cloud computing. So that is why people will, means the company owners or the companies, they prefer to go with the cloud computing. And if you see the a one second. One second, guys. Okay. So if we if we can reduce that much amount, so as a owner, you definitely go with the cloud computing. Now, which cloud computing, that is up to you. Means you can go with the you can go with AWS, you can go with Azure. So these are kind of a different vendors product. AWS is from Amazon, and the Azure is from Microsoft, and Google Cloud Platform is from Google, and so on. Okay, so today we are going to discuss about AWS. Okay, so I hope everyone is clear about that. What is AWS, what is cloud computing, and why we need it. Anyone has any doubt, any question? All right. So now let us first start with the AWS, which is Amazon. So it's a Amazon product, right? It's Amazon Web Service, right? It's Amazon product. You do the shopping for Amazon, and which is running on AWS. Okay, so the entire Amazon website is running on AWS. So I have my notes. So let me just open that notes. Okay, so this is my notes. So I will share with you. You can do a fork on this. So already some of the people has done, so that you can access all the notes. Okay, so AWS Solution Associate Architect, that syllabus I'm trying to cover here. Not completely I can cover it within these 3 hours, but yes, whatever is possible, we will cover into that. So there is a exam pattern for the AWS Certified Solution Architect Associate, and the exam pattern is that you have a multiple choice question, and you can have one or more multiple uh, answers. Okay, so you can have means one answer. Some of the questions are having one answer, and some can have multiple answers. Type is associate. You need to go to a testing center to take the exam. Total time is 130 minutes to complete the exam, and the cost is $150 for the associate and $20 for the practice exam. And language, it is English, Japanese, Korean, and simplified Chinese. Okay, mostly, so you can go through. I don't want to spend much time on theory. I want to show more practical. So basically, it is means once you complete that course, AWS Solution Architect, or what are the things we are going to cover, then you will be. Uh, it is assume that you are good in networking, you are good in creating instances, creating load balancing, etc. So we will see few of the topics here. So first thing is that AWS account is basically, it is free of cost for 12 months. Okay. So if you want to create an account in AWS, so what is the benefit you are going to do? You are getting that 12 months free. But free does not mean it is 100% free. So there is a limit. Means if you are creating the virtual machines or EC2 instances, 750 hours per month, it is free. So if you cross that number of hours, you need to pay for that. Same way, if uh, uh, if the total space, if you are crossing 30 GB per month, then you need to pay. So say an example, you are creating three instances or two instances, and total space, disk space, you have mentioned that it is 40 GB. Then for next 10 GB, you need to pay for that. Okay, so these are the two things basically you need to take care. Other things are directly or indirectly related to these 2 points only. Okay, now there are different accounts in AWS. One is basic account, which we are going to use. In the basic account, it is free version, which is 12 months free, and you can use the services with the uh, limited values, like for number of hours of EC2 instances and the total disk space. Secondly, this free account, even though you are creating a free account, so you need to provide the credit or debit card details to AWS, and you need not to worry about that, because that is very secure. And this AWS credit card means, when you are giving the credit card details, it basically, why it needs that, because if you cross that limit, okay, if you cross that limit, then means AWS has the authority to deduct it from your account, means your credit card account. So you need to enable your billing, so that in case if the bill cross more than certain amount, then you want that there will be a notification come to your email account. So that thing you can do. Okay, and how to create that account? To create that account, you need to go to AWS website, and the AWS website address is aws.amazon.com. Okay, AWS is full form is Amazon Web Service. Okay, so you need to go to this website. Okay, and here I already have that account, but you can create your own account. So actually, in my case, it is not showing. I think it is AWS/create. No. Okay, so let me go to sign in. Okay, so okay, down you can see create a new AWS account. So when you click on this, so you can get this in this particular option from number of places. Here you need to give the email address, you need to give the password, you need to give the confirm password, and you need to give the AWS account name, means what account name you want to create. Okay, so because we have the limited time, this 3 hours only, so means I'm not create, even I already created that free account, and it is very simple. After this, it will ask for your personal details. Sorry.
Raman, sorry to interrupt you. I don't see anything on your screen. Google. So, is it me or
So it's not properly visible, is it? That's what you're saying?
yes.
Okay, I don't know whether it's my problem. I'm not able to hear you properly.
I see a boom here.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Then give me 1 second. Let me connect directly to my LAN
Is
cable.
it same with all of you? Is it just me who is
Yeah. Give me 1 minute. Let me directly connect to my LAN cable. Okay, so is it clear now? Hello.
We can able to hear you properly.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought actually there was when someone was talking, so I was not able to hear properly. So I thought it's a network problem.
No, no, even we can't able to hear.
Okay. Okay, now you can hear me properly. Okay, so what was the question? Someone was asking some question. Okay, so there is no question. Okay, fine. So this 12 months account you can create. That is the free tier account. And here you basically need to provide your information related to your email address. If you have already have the account, then you cannot create with the same email address. You need to change the email address. And after that, you need to provide your personal information. And there it asks about your PAN card details. If you are connecting from India, then no need to provide the PAN card detail, not required. You can say, I don't have PAN card. But the mandatory part is that you need to provide the credit card details or debit card details. Then your it will deduct 1 rupee, 1 or 2 rupee, and that will be immediately refundable. And the account creation time is means as per AWS, it is 24 hours. Within 24 hours, they create your account. And if you see that within 3 to 4 24 hours, so once your account get created, and one more thing, if even though if you will get some problem to connect to that account, I will share one video which is recorded by me. One second. So, okay, so yeah, so this is the video which I have created. If you have any issue related to create the account, then you can choose this one. Let me just share it on chat window. So here there is a full detail how to create the account. Okay, so once you have the account, then we can go to the sign into the existing account. Or you can directly go to aws.amazon.com. Here now you are a root user. Okay. So for root user, you need to give your email address and click on next. And here you need to provide your password which you had given while creating the account. So my password. So here you can see AWS Management Console. So this is your console. So if someone asks what is console, console is basically like your dashboard on or the GUI of your AWS. Here you can see the services which is in AWS. There are more than I think now 1,000 services which are available in AWS. and no need to learn each and every service. So there are different categories. If you see here, compute, storage. So whatever is your field, you can select that one. But there are something which is common to each and every uh, field. The field means you are working on some AWS networking part. You are working on AWS as machine learning. So you will basically go with this. Okay. So if you say with the AWS networking, which is the networking and content part, okay, so you will find it somewhere here, networking and content delivery. Okay, so it depends. So, but there are few things which everyone should know. One of them is the EC2, Elastic Cloud Compute. So 2 times C comes, that's why it is EC2. So with the help of the EC2, what you can do, you can create the virtual machines. Virtual machines, you can create Windows virtual machines, you can create Linux virtual machines. You cannot create Mac operating systems. Okay, so okay, I have 3 snapshots. Let me just remove it first. Okay. Okay, so there is something I have created. Okay, so this is, if you click on this EC2 dashboard, so here it will show you the detail of your EC2 instances. EC2 is, you can say, your virtual machines in AWS. So let me click on instances, or you can click on running instances. So here you can see it is blank, means I have no instances created so far, or if I have created, I have already deleted it. So first you need to click on launch instance. And here you can create the Linux, Windows, you can see Windows operating systems. You can create deep learning, which is, a part of machine learning. So you can create different types of operating systems. So first, let me create any one of this. You can create Red Hat, you can create SUSE, Amazon, but you need to check it should be free tier eligible if you are running with the free tier account. Okay, if you have the paid account, then you can create, whatever you want to create in the instances. So here an example, I want to create a Red Hat instance. So here you can see the detail. It is 64-bit and it is Red Hat 8 version. Okay, and it is volume SSD. Can anybody tell me what is SSD volume or hard disk? Anyone knows difference between HDD and SSD?
SSD is solid state disk.
Yes. So how it is different from the normal hard disk?
So SSD have 75,000 speed, which work as a flash drive.
Yes. So basically what happens in the SSD, the data is stored in the form of blocks. Okay. So what it means, so say an example, if you have something in your hard disk. So in the hard disk, say an example, you have a file which is say 1 GB file or more than 1 GB file. And if you want to open, so what will happen, that entire file will come into your memory and then it get opened. Okay. So that's why you might have noticed that whenever you are opening this file, it goes into not responding mode and then it opens, right? Because it loads that file contents into the memory. But in the SSD type, basically what happens, it stores the data in the form of blocks. And what is the meaning of block? So your 1 GB file is basically divided into some blocks. So blocks in the sense 128 MB blocks, right? So your 1 GB is divided into 128 MB or some number blocks. So that is a standard number. And whenever the reading happens, so first it loads 128 MB. Okay, and it reads that data. Then next 128. So it will not be in that way as we were doing in the hard disk, which has the sector reading and read the data and into the memory. So it's not like that. It reads the data, but it is 128 MB here. So this kind of things basically happens in the SSD. That's why it is very fast. And in AWS, we call it block storage, elastic block storage, EBS we call it. Okay, and these types we call the EBS. So here you can see EBS, general purpose SSD volume type. Okay, so we call it elastic block storage. So the data stored in the form of the blocks. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this Red Hat operating system. You can select any one of these. Now let us see how to set up the configurations. So this is totally depends upon your requirement, but I'm just creating this Red Hat instance simply with the select. And here you can see it is saying what type of Red Hat instance you want to create. T2 Nano, which has one CPU and it is not free. Free is only T2 Micro. Okay, so others are having different configuration like 2 CPUs, 4 GB RAM, EBS only, low to moderate, so that is the network performance, and IPv6 is supported. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select this free tier. So I will select this and click on next. So here is the instance detail. So let me talk about the instance detail here. Okay, so when we talk about an instance, so basically what happens in AWS, there are some regions and there are some regions are basically, you can say, geographical area. Let's say geographical area. Okay, like in India, it is in Mumbai. In US, there are a lot of like North Virginia. Okay, so whenever you are creating one instance, so my instance is somewhere here. I'm creating one EC2 instance, which is my Red Hat. But this ultimately this will be get created somewhere on. It will get created somewhere on some machine, right? Even though it's a virtual machine, but it is to be created on some hard disk. So this under this regions we have availability zones. Okay, so these availability zones are nothing but the data centers, and on this data center your EC2 instances get created, and EC2 instances are nothing but your virtual machines. So how it is under regions? Regions are nothing but the geographical area like Mumbai, North Virginia, Sydney, etc. Under these regions, we are going to create the data centers, and these data centers are called availability zones. And in these availability zones, we are creating our EC2 instances. Okay, so this is basically how it get created. Now, there are two things. This is availability zones, but if you want to create one EC2 instance, and this EC2 instance is created on some machine, okay, and that machine should be in a network. Okay, so for example, I'm creating it on my availability zone 1. Now this, if I create one more EC2 instance under the same availability zone, it means there will be a networking between these two EC2 instances. And we will talk about that when you want to create a data center that we call the VPC, Virtual Private Cloud. Okay, so this VPC, when you are creating it, at that time, you decide what are my availability zones and what type of instances I can create and so on. So here I'm saying number of instances, how many EC2 instances you want to create. If you say 1, it will create 1. If you say 100, you can create 100 here. Purchasing option, you can, for the free tier, you can just leave it as it is, because if you say an example, you have 5 systems and you want some more system, or then basically you request for the sport instances. Whenever it is required, I can have 5 more instances. Network is your VPC. By default, whenever you are creating an instances or whenever you are creating a region, so here we are basically going to select the regions. So here you can select whatever the region you want to select. So if you say, I want to select North Virginia, US East, California, Oregon, and so on. So whatever the region is nearest to your customer, you can select that region. Okay. And here this instance is now getting created under, this is getting created under North Virginia region. Okay. Now next is the subnet. So under the VPC, we create the subnet. Subnet means subnetwork. So if you have a big network, so this is my big network. Here I'm creating one network, which is for, say an example, my web servers. So which web server, which subnet you want to connect, that you need to mention here. We can create our own, but here I'm just selecting. Let me just clear the screen. So here what I'm saying, I'm selecting in a region there are multiple availability zones. So which availability zone you want to create, that is your subnet. Next is the auto assign public IP addresses. So whenever you are creating an instance, you are basically creating two types of IP addresses for your instance. One is public IP address, one is private IP address. So let us understand what is the difference between public and private IP addresses. So if an EC2 instance get created, this EC2 instance always comes with the minimum one IP address. Without IP address, you cannot create the EC2 instance. And this IP address is your private IP address. So even though you can decide that what will be the range of my IP address, that we will see in the VPC part. Okay, but if you want to create an IP address, so by default EC2 get one private IP address, and if it is public, here you can see auto assign public IP address. If it is enabled, then one public IP address is also assigned. This public address is basically accessed by the external users. So what is the external user? External user means, say an example, I have one EC2 instance and my website is running on it, and I want to share with my clients. So client, how they can access it? They can go to my IP address, my system's IP address, and through that, with port 80, they can access my website, or 443, they can access my website. So I need to share some IP address or some DNS name. So Here I'm not talking about DNS name, I'm just talking about the service. So that means IP address I need to share with my clients. So that is the external. So it means you are going to share the public IP address, not the private IP address. Private IP address is basically for the internal communication. Okay, so private IP address never change, but public IP address get changed whenever you are rebooting your system. So similar way, there is one more IP address which we call the elastic IP address. Because whenever you are rebooting your system, your public IP address gets changed, which you don't want. You want that your IP address should be constant. Constant in the sense, because if your IP address gets changed and you are sharing that IP address with your customer, then whenever the reboot happens, you need to give the new IP address to the customer. Instead of that, what I will do, I will create one elastic IP address. And this elastic IP address will be the public IP address, and it is constant for your machine. And this elastic IP address you need to purchase. You need to pay for that. For the free account, there are maximum 2 elastic IP address you can use as a free, but for the third, you need to pay the charges. Okay, so here I have selected auto assign public IP address. Okay, so I think as of now these options are okay. We can go ahead with creating this EC2 instance. We will see IAM role, these things once we go through that particular topic. Now I'm clicking on next, which is the add storage. Here what it is showing that what will be your root volume. Root volume is the volume where your operating system get installed. And it is saying I'm going to use 10 GB. And delete on termination means whenever I am going to delete the instance, so this volume also get terminated. Encryption, okay, so not encrypted as of now. Next is the tag, which is optional, means if you want to add some tag. So say an example, there are some tag like if I say name, I want to give AWS Red Hat server and click on security group. Now security group is basically your firewall. So on this system, what are the firewalls you want to open? If you want to open a firewall, you can say click on that add rule, and here you can select whatever the firewall you want to open. So say an example, if you want to do a ping, then ICMP firewall, for that protocol you need to open that firewall. If you want everything is to be opened, then all traffic. So all traffic means there is no boundation of your firewall. Everything will be opened, even SSH is open for that. And here on the top, it is saying create a new security group. So you can give the meaningful name here for your security group. And if you think that you want to use it later, that's why I'm giving some meaningful name. So I already have some names. So here you can see all traffic, and down you can see all traffic means it is open for the all the addresses. Okay, all the firewalls. So anyone can use it. And one more thing, when you are creating all traffic, here you need to choose the anywhere. Anywhere means anyone can use it, and then review and launch. So, but I already have that existing security group, so I'm selecting this and review and launch. And then you can review it. If you want to make any changes, you can do the changes and click on launch. Now, when you are creating first time, it will ask for the key value pair. So key value pair is basically there is one public key get created, and that key is the authentication, one of the authentication way to connect to the server. And that key, if you don't have that key, it means you cannot start your instance. So it is that much important. And the extension of this file is .pem. So what you can do, in my case, I already have, but if you want to create, you need to click on the create new pair. You need to give that and download the key pair and keep it some secure place so that you can use it whenever you are using your EC2 instance. But in my case, I have already created one Virginia key. So I'm acknowledging it and launch instance. So if you are creating Linux machine, then it means you you need some SSH client like PuTTY or MobaXterm. So here now you can see this name I had given as a tag name, AWS Red Hat, and other properties. Here you can see there is a public IP address get created, and this is the private IP address. And there is a DNS name also get created. This is public DNS name and this is private DNS. So it is up to you whether you want to use the public DNS or public IP address, okay, or you can use the private IP address or private DNS. So it is totally up to you. Now you can see my instance is in the running state. So to connect to this particular Linux box, most of the people they use PuTTY, but I would prefer MobaXterm to connect to the system, Linux system. So here you need to click on SSH, and now I need to give the IP address, public IP address, not private. And here you can specify the username. So there are some usernames, especially for the Linux machine. So if it is your Red Hat machine, Red Hat, AWS, any type of AWS Linux machines, then it is the username is ec2-user. And for Ubuntu operating system, it is Ubuntu, small letters. And for CentOS, it is small letter CentOS. So these are the usernames we need to use. Okay, so it is up to you, means if you want to create after that some user, that you can do, but for login purpose you need to use these usernames. Okay, but later if you are expert in Linux or Windows, Linux in this case, if you want to create some remote user, you can create it. Okay, so here, because I am using the Red Hat, so for Red Hat we are going to use ec2-user. Okay, then we need to go to the advanced SSH and we need to use the PEM file which we have created for the AWS. So my key was Virginia key.pem file. I am opening it. Say OK. Okay. So now you can see I am connected to that system. So I'm connected to that system, and here if I say ls, so there is no pwd, so you can run the command. Now you can use the AWS EC2 instance and you can share with, means basically the EC2 instance get created. Now this for what purpose you have created, that is up to you. Okay, so here now I can, if you want to install something, you can use some yum install, say I want to install httpd. Okay, so I need to update I need to start with the root user. So if I say sudo su, so I'm a root user. Now if I say yum install httpd -y, so it will install the Apache service for me. Okay, so mean to say that now my machine is ready. I can perform whatever the activity I want to do. I want to install Java. I want to install Tomcat. So whatever the things you want to do, you can give it to the developer, this machine, by saying that, okay, your machine is ready. Now you can go ahead with your own development, and you need not to buy the server. You need not to maintain the server, networking basically point of view. Everything will be managed by the AWS. Okay. Now, I'm not going to go in detail of that. Let me close this. Okay. And if I go here, and if you want to stop it, so there is action. So instances, you can say stop, reboot, terminate. If you stop it, it will be stopped. If you say reboot, it will be restarted. And if you say terminate, it will be removed, means deleted. So if I say terminate, it is asking, do you want to terminate? Yes. Okay. Now there is another instance which now I can create quickly. So I want to create one Windows instance. So let us create some, not 2019. Let's create 2012 or 2008 so that it will be quickly get created. So here I think 2008 is not there, 2012. So this is the Windows server with SQL. I want, okay, so these all are SQL base, I think, but this is not free tier. Okay, oh, all are coming with some with container, deep learning. Oh, okay. So then let me check this one. Windows 2012 R2 with the 2016 SQL Server. Okay, let's select this. Okay, so okay, free tier is not available. So we need to go to the previous. Okay, so I think they have made some changes. So if I select this one, we have noticed that you changed the email. Yes, yes, I want to continue with this. Next. Okay, so AWS keep changing the things. Okay, so here we have the free tier. So I'm selecting this option. All these
Ram,
things yep.
I don't think we are able to see your actions. I think it got stuck. I'm not sure you're moving the screen.
Okay, so let me share it again. Okay, so you can see I'm on the configure instance details page.
No, we are on a home page. Choose AMI.
Okay, so everyone is having the same problem.
Yes.
Okay, so what's wrong? So is it unshared now?
Yes.
Okay, so let me share again. So is my screen visible now?
Yeah, I can see it's a choose instance type page at this
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. So I'm selecting the free tier eligible, which is T2 micro. And now I'm clicking on next instance. So here, same way you are going to select your instance detail. I want to create one instance, VPC, public IP address I want to give. Okay. And click on next, add storage. Here, because it's Windows server, so it needs more space. So you can see it is 30 GB. So we will select this one, but you need to be very careful because as I mentioned that whenever you are selecting the space, it should not cross 30 GB. So I have already terminated one of the instance of the AWS, and now next I'm creating 30 GB. So here I'm saying Win server or Win web server, whatever you want to give. Okay, so it is RDP, not SSH. For RDP means remote desktop access. So for that, the port is 3389 is to be open. Okay, or if you want to select if you don't want to do the foundation of traffic, means all traffic you want to open, means all the means for all IP addresses, all the firewalls are open. So I'm saying okay and launch it. So I'm going to use the same key. So key pair you can use for the multiple instances. So now if I go to view instances, so now this is getting ready. So let's wait for that once it comes into the running state. Okay, so now it is in the running state. So if you select this, you can click on connect. Okay, so what it is saying, you can download the remote desktop, and this down here you can see the DNS name is this, username is administrator, and password. So if you want to get the password, click on this. Okay, password is not yet available. Okay, let's try again. Please wait for 4 minutes, it is saying. Okay, so we just keep trying. Okay, so let me just close it and click on connect again. Let me download this desktop file meanwhile. So this file get downloaded. So if I say open, so it is saying you want to connect. Yes, I want to connect it. So here I need to give the password, which I will get it from here. Okay, still it is not ready. Okay, so here now it is saying I need to give my key value path, means key path is my, where I kept it, key softwares. Okay, decrypt the password. So this is my password. So you can click on this copy symbol. So it will copy to the clipboard. Okay, now you can go here and paste your password. If you want to say remember me, click OK. Now it is connecting to my Windows server. So you can see within minutes these servers are ready. Otherwise, if you go for the Windows server, means even in the if you are using the VMware also, so you need some amount of time. But here you can see it is very quick. And here I'm creating only one. If you want to create 100 machines are ready within 1 or 2 minutes or maximum 5 minutes. So now I'm connected to my Windows machine. So this way you can connect to your Windows machine as well as your Linux machine. Now here Windows machine is with you. Whatever you want to do, you want to install some software, you want to install some application, you can do it. Anyone has any doubt, any question related to creating instances? Okay, so here I can shut
Raman,
down.
I have a doubt.
Yeah,
I have a Mac machine, so the whole configuration you have set up here, can I do it in my MacBook Pro, or is it I only have, is it I have, or I have to install a virtual machine or do it the same way like you're doing right now?
so for Macs, you want the Mac image.
No, no, no. I am using a Mac, so I would like to connect to the Red Hat, to the instance
Okay,
like you have shown
yeah.
now.
So actually on Mac operating system, the terminal SSH client is already installed on your terminal. So what you need to do
Mhm.
in that case, so let me just come out of this. So let me just terminate this. Okay, so when you are connecting with your Linux operating system, so now I'm going to select one more, which is I'm specially taking this first one, Amazon. And the last time I have taken Red Hat. So here today there is a reason. I will tell you why I'm selecting this one. Okay, and I'm just quickly now create test instance. Okay, tag security group. I will select this, review and launch and launch. Okay, you can give the name here also. It's my Amazon Linux system. Okay, so let it get ready. Okay, so it is in there. So now you need to click on connect. In the connect, this is the SSH command. So you need to copy this command and you can run it on your terminal, Mac terminal. So this is the
Mhm.
one way.
Okay.
Second way is that you can download PuTTY or MOBA Extra and you can connect with that. Third thing is that you can use this EC2 Instance Connect through browser, and the username is this connect. So automatically one browser based SSH client will initiate it, and you can use here. So if I say means whatever the command you want to write, pwd command. So by this also I can connect, but this browser based is only supported with the instance type which I have selected, the first one, Amazon. For other, either you need some SSH client tool like Putty, MobaXtrum, or anyone else. There are a lot of SSH clients are available. Okay. Okay. So now I have this machine which I have created, Amazon, which is basically Red Hat machine only. So what I'm going to do here, first let me connect with the root user. So here I'm going to install Apache server. So to install Apache, you will say yum install httpd -y. So it will install the Apache server on my machine. So on this machine, Apache server is installed. So it's basically a service. So if you say systemctl status httpd, so you can see it is installed, but it is in the inactive mode. So if you want to start it, I will say systemctl start httpd. Now this is in the ready state. So if I say systemctl status httpd, so you can see it is active and running. So now if I take this IP address and if I go to my browser, you can see Apache page is getting opened. Okay, so it means my httpd is running fine. Okay, so this way means if you want to install, if you want to create your own HTML file, so say an example, if I say vi, I want to create a file under where stub/html, and here you want to create test.html file. Okay, and here I'm saying h1, this is my, so I'm just creating one HTML page. This is my web page. Okay, /h1, and let me save this. Now if I go back to my browser again, and if I say this /test.html, so you can see my web page is also appearing. So this way, basically on my machine, I have created these website, and it's a very HTML page, but in real time we have some Java application, Windows, some Python application, web application which we are running. Okay, so now let us move forward and see what are the other things we can do with the AWS. Now, if you are a solution architect and you need to create the users in AWS, users in the sense, if I say there is a team which is development team, or there is a say an example testing team, and there is one implementation team. So there are three teams, and these three teams has one project manager, and that project manager come to you and he's saying, I need EC2 instances for my developer. It could be one developer, it could be multiple. Developer can leave the job, new developers can join the job. So I need to create the EC2 instances. And for test servers also I need the EC2 instances. And for implementation also I need the EC2 instances. Okay. Now, when you are creating the EC2 instances, then This developer has limited functionality. So there is one S3. S3 is the simple storage service, which is basically for the storage purpose in AWS. So he wants that this developer, or the means whosoever is the developer, he has read and write access to the S3 service. Whereas tester, they have only read access to the S3 service. Whereas implementer is basically the admin. Okay, and admin of this EC2 user, and he can perform any task because he is a admin. He has to implement the things, and everything is to be done by the implementer. So he is the admin or kind of a root user. Now to perform this activity, they come to us, or to come to the solution architect of AWS, and they are saying that this is the scenario and we need to perform our activity in such a way. Now you as a solution architect, you need to provide the solution. For this kind of problem statement, I will use IAM, Identity Access Management. Okay, so this is basically Identity Access Management. So in Identity Access Management, we basically create the users. We basically create the groups. Under groups, we create the users. So what I will do, I will create a group developer, tester, and implementer. Under developer, I will create users, and these groups I can give the permissions, or we call the policy access. For users also, I will give the not users. For other groups, I will give the policy access. In that policy, I will say they will have S3 read and write, or S3 read permission. Okay, so let us see how to do that. To perform this activity, I will go back to my AWS, and now what I will do, I will go to the services. Under services, I will select Identity Access Management, which is under my security. So if something, because there are a lot of services, I can find it here, but if you are unable to find, you can search it here also. IAM, you can say. Okay, this is under the category of security, identity, compliance. So here, first, what you are basically doing, you are setting up your own access, means as a root user. So far you can see I have 3 users. So you can activate your MFA. What is MFA? MFA is multi-factor authentication. For this, say an example, if you are creating a username and password, or your root username and password, and that root username and password, you want one more layer of security. For that, what you need to do, you want some token is to be created, and that it's kind of your OTP, means one-time password. For one-time password, basically what you do, it comes to your mobile, and from mobile you enter that password, then it is approved. So same way, if you want to create the multi-factor authentication, then you need to download Google Authenticator on your machine, on your mobile. And whenever you are login at that time, uh, it will ask username, password, and multi-factor authentication code, which you need to get it from the, which you can get it from your Google Authenticator, and you need to provide to your account. Then you can access it. It will basically helps you to provide some more security. Now, if you want to create the users groups, so let us create the groups first. Okay, I already have some groups. Let me remove these groups. And let me see if I have the users. Okay, I have users. Let me remove these users as well. And roles. So some of the roles I don't need. You can remove this. Some of the roles I don't know, multiple we can delete. So this RDS. So wherever you can see that number, that you can remove it. Okay, looks like okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create the group first. So I need 3 groups. One is for the developer. So I will say developer. So now these are the policies which we call the attach policies. Okay. So these policies. So I want to give developer S3 access. S3 read and write access means S3 read only, S3 full access I want to give. Okay, next step, and create the group. So one group get created, dev, which has no user, and the policy which is applied, that S3 full access. Now I want to create one more group. Here the group name will be the tester or test. And here I can say S3 again. And I'm saying he will have the read-only access. Create group. Okay. So one more group I will create, which is the implementer. And here I will say admin access, administrator access. Okay, click on next step, create. So all these 3 groups get created. Now I need to add the users. So let's click on the users and click on add user. You can give the username. So this is developer 1. Now there are 2 types of access. One is programmatic access, one is console access. So programmatic, you want that these developer and tester, they should not have the console access. They cannot go to the AWS console. Console means this GUI, and they can access the service. So I want to give, because this is a developer, and developer can have only the programmatic access. If you want to give both the access, you can give it, but I want to give the programmatic access to my developer 1. Next. Okay, and to which group it belongs to? It belongs to the dev. You can add it into the multiple groups as well. Any tag you want to give? No. Okay. If you want to create another user, same way you can create the dev2, dev1, dev2. Okay. Now here is the credential. So let me download this and we will see what we can do with this. So if I see in the folder, so I will call it dev account. Okay. Now close it. Let's create another user. Oh, actually, dev1 I need to create. Okay. Here I'm creating test1 user. To this user also I want to give the programmatic access and I want to put it under test group. Create user. Okay, so this also I will download it. So I will go here and I will change the name to test. So these are the credentials of these users. Now third, I will create implement 1. And to this, I want to give the console access. And I want to say that auto-generated password, or if you want to create, and next sign in, it will, give that, means next sign in, you can change the password. Okay, and this is under implement. Okay, this also I will download it. Okay, so I will call it implement. Okay, so far what I have done, I have created 3 groups. Under these 3 groups, I have created 3 users. So what we have done, we have basically created 3 groups, and under 3 groups we have created these 3 users. Now let us see what is in this file. So this is your dev user. So if I open it, and here you can see some detail. The detail is that username is dev1, password is blank because password is only required for the console. Okay, access point and secret access ID. And this is the login link if you want to connect. So what I will do, I will go to my, so this one is, so I need to go, you can go to your Ec2 instance and programmatic access. So programmatic access means you need to give the some programmer, means the programmers. So AWS machines means if you want to access the service through programming, you can access it, right? So let me connect with as a programmer. So programmer will not have the GUI access, but they have the access by using programming with some commands. So I'm trying to do that. So for that, basically there are some commands which we need to know for the programmatic access. So what I will do, sudo su. First, let me install Python. So if I say yum install Python, why I'm installing Python? Because okay, Python is already installed because Python is helpful to run the AWS commands. So here now next I'm saying yum install Python pip -pip. Okay, so pip is installed. Now if I go to my AWS that so here I have some commands which is related to AWS CLI. Okay, so here first what you need to do, you need to write a command AWS configure. Now here it is asking the access key. Now what it will do, it will basically identify you are a valid user or not. To do that, what you need to do, you need to go to your credential and here you have the access key. Copy this and paste it here. Okay, enter. Secret key is this, which is nothing but your password for your programmatic password. And the region name. So region name, you can see here, our region is North Virginia. And to find the region name list, what you can do, you can just search from the Google. So region name in AWS. So here you can find the first link. And for North Virginia, it is US East 1. So you can copy this and paste it here. Okay, default output format, yes. Now, on this machine, now I'm connected with user dev1. Okay, because this is the secret key and access key. Now, let me go to my EC2 instance again. And here in the services, you can see in the storage, we have S3 service. And so this is just consider it is a storage, means where you can store the data. So just let me remove. Okay, so you can create the buckets. Basically in the S3 we create some buckets. So to create the bucket through, if you are able to create the bucket, it means you have the right access. So let me just run this command. So if I say S3 S3 AWS LS, sorry, AWS S3 LS. So it will list all the buckets. So you can see all the buckets. It means it can read it. If I run this command, which is make bucket, so I'm creating a bucket here. Okay, so test bucket Raman is already created. So I will create different bucket, TSG, TGS bucket. Okay. So bucket name is not available. Okay. So I will create another bucket. So this is not the valid. So TGS bucket test failed location constraint compatible with the region you sent to. Okay, what is that? Okay, let me create some different. Probably this is not the, because bucket name is means globally it should be unique. So if I say I want to create a bucket, say test Raman 987. Okay, so the bucket get created. So if I go back here into my S3, so if I refresh this page, so with the programming, this bucket get created. Okay, so it means dev has read access as well as write access. Now let me connect with the other user, which is the test user, which has only read access, not the write access. So for that, again, what you need to do, AWS configure command you need to run. So what this command will do, it will ask the access key. Now I will give the access key of my test user. Okay, so let me just, so this is my test one, and this is the access key. So I will copy this. Okay. Not this one. So if I say AWS configure, access key is this much. This is test one, right? So I will copy this. I will paste it here. And the secret key. And the US East, right? Now, if I say AWS S3 ls, so you can see this user can read the buckets, right? S3 bucket, but it should have only the read-only access, not the write access. So for that, if I run the command, which is in my notes, so if I run this command, so let me, instead of create, let me remove the bucket. So if I say remove bucket and bucket name, okay, and my bucket name is this test Raman 987. So test Raman 987. Okay, so failed because access is denied. So now you understood probably that this test one user does not have a permission to write, means it cannot remove the bucket directory, right, or the bucket from my S3. Now third user is my implementer user. So that user has the access, but that access is not the programmatic access, that is console access. So just let me go to that user, third one. So if I go to my downloads, and this is implement. Okay, so this is the implementer. Here you can see it has a password, but it does not have access key and secret key because it has the console access, not the programmatic access. And this is the console link. So I need to connect with this console link. I will copy this and I will go to my browser. And here, if I paste this link here, now it is saying reload. So I need to reload it. So now I'm connecting with the implementer. So this is my account ID and this is the account username. My username is not this one, this user. implement 1. And my password is this auto-generated password. And click on sign in. Okay, so now it is asking, because the option it was there when we have created this password, that give the means change the password in next sign in, and here you can give the password. So I'm giving some password, retype the new password, and you can say confirm password. Now you can see this user can perform any task because this user is now the root user. He can create the EC2 instance, delete the EC2 instance, S3, and so on. Is IAM clear to everyone? Anyone has any doubt, any question? Okay. So, and on the top, you can see the means user who has logged in. So currently it is implementer 1 at the rate, this is the my account name. So if you want to sign out, you can sign out from here. And if you say sign in, and you want to log in with the root user, not this implement 1. And this is my email address, next, and whatever the password I had given. So whenever you want, you can remove that user. Okay. Now next is the roles. So roles are basically little bit different. So as you know, Linux operating system is the multi-user operating system. So if you logged in, so your credential gets stored on your system. So anyone can use your system, and it will be considered that whatever the access key and secret key you had given, means either you are logged in with developer or a test user, then without verifying that whether it's a, because whenever you are connecting to the same system, and if you perform any activity related to now dev1 or test1, so whosoever has logged in last, that credential will be automatically used for the users, means whosoever is performing the operation. So say an example, last I have logged in with the test1, so now some other user connects to my system, and if he wants to perform any operation, so this will be for the test1 user, which I don't want. I want that it is on role based. So what is role based? In the role based, basically it is, say an example, you want to create some role on the basis of AWS. So what I was talking about, just let me show you here. So say an example, I'm on my EC2 instance. And one instance is running. And if I connect with the browser, so if I say sudo su, and if I say ls/root ls-la/root, so you can see there is a directory which is called .aws directory. So if I say ls minus l root slash .aws. So here you can see there are two files. One is config file, one is credential file. So let me just say cat slash config file. So here it will have the region related information. And if I say slash credential, so it will have the information of my secret key and access key. So it means if I perform any activity, it will take the credentials from this file, which is not good. So let me remove this directory. So if I say rm slash root slash .aws. Okay, so I'm just forcefully removing it recursively and forcefully. Now this directory is removed. Now if I say S3 AWS S3 ls, nothing will happen because there is no credential, right? But I want that this particular machine has some role specific things. So if I go back to my IAM role, if I go here with the IAM, so I can search it here on the top. Okay, here I will go to roles and let me create a role. And in this role, what I want to do, I want to apply this role on EC2 instance. Next permission. I want to give the S3 full access. So I will search for S3 full access. Next, you want to give any tag. So I will say name role1. Review. Again, you can give the role name as role1 and create role. Okay, so role1 get created. Now I will go back to my EC2 instance. And here I can go to my instances, running instances. And I can select this and click on action, instance settings. And here you can see attach or replace IAM role. So I'm giving the role role1. Okay, and I will say apply. Now this role is specific to my EC. So if you want any EC2 instance which has S3 full access, then you can connect with or attach with this role. Now if I go back to my instance again, and if I run the same command, now you can see I can read the S3 ls. Means it has the full access, read access and write access both. Okay, so that is all about IAM, Identity Access Management. Next, I want to discuss about S3. So S3. So you can go to your services and here storage S3. So S3 is basically your simple storage service. Here you can create the buckets. In the buckets, you can store the files which can be accessible through the URL. Okay. So say an example, if you create a bucket, bucket name should be unique. So I'm saying test if I say. So, and if I say create, it will give the error because it is already exist. And this is not existing in my account. It should be, globally it will check. So if I say test demo, let us see. Okay. And if I say create, and it is region specific. So I'm creating under the North Virginia region, and say click on create. Okay, this is also exist. Oh my God. Okay, Raman 1. Okay, so this Raman 1 bucket get created. So I can go inside this bucket and I can upload the files and folder inside it. If you want to upload, just click on upload, click on add files. So as an example, I want to add this file, open. So this file I'm uploading here. Okay, so this file get created under my bucket, and the bucket name is test Raman 1. So if you see, if I go here, now I can see there is an object URL, and this URL I can give it to the others so they can access it. So now here it is saying access denied. So it means I cannot give it to the others because they will get the access denied issue. So for that, basically what can I do? I need to make it public. So but I cannot make it public because it is grayed out. So to make it public, what I will do, I need to make my bucket public first. So in the bucket, I will go to the properties, and here not properties, permissions, and here you can see block all public access. I click on edit and I will remove this and I will save it. So it will not remove now it will be publicly available. So now here I have I need to just write confirm and click confirm. And now if I go back to my bucket, okay, and if I click on this URL, and now if I say make public, now it is publicly available. Now if I click on this, so you can see something get downloaded. And if I say open, okay, what's wrong? Okay, so this is downloaded, show in folder. Okay, so if you want to open with Notepad, you can see the file. I can download it. Even though if I give this file to you, you can also download it. So this is now publicly available. So in S3, basically we create the bucket, and we basically we can do a lot of things, right? But because of this time constraint, I'm just going through that. The main thing I'm just touching base here. So I'm saying that it is just creating the buckets, and in the buckets you can create the files and folders. Now, other thing which we can do in the in the AWS, we can create the databases as well. So the databases are something like your MySQL database, or right. So how to create the databases? You need to go to services and you need to go to the databases. So database, here you can see RDS, Relational Database System.
Raman, quick question. I might miss the intro few points, but are we going to talk about the API gateway in Lambda also?
That probably not possible because that's a very big, means it's a big topic. That's serverless programming. So, but I can show you, I can give an overview of that.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So here now you can see that I can create the database, and AWS basically supports the databases, which is 6 types like Amazon Aurora, MySQL, MariaDB, PostgreSQL, and Oracle, and MS SQL Server. So
Raman, quick
what?
question here. So recently I heard like Amazon like moved entire their database from Oracle to their own Amazon database. That means like it's robust and it's good as like a Oracle now.
Yeah, yes. So
Okay.
actually, these all types of databases are in Amazon, means it is hosted on Amazon Web Service only. But what means, say an example, you have your own data center VPC, and under that VPC you want to create your RDS. Any RDS means any type of this database engine, you can create it. So for example, I'm going to create MySQL, and under MySQL, which version you want to select, that MySQL version. So I'm selecting 5.7.22. Template, whether you want to do it for production, development, or free tier. I'm selecting for free tier. If you select production or dev, you have a that replication facility. There are a lot of other facilities, but it is chargeable. So multi-zone redundancy means in multiple zones you can do the redundancy of your data. But I'm not going to do that because I'm just selecting my free tier. Next, what is the database name instance? Whatever you want to give. For me, database 1 is fine. Username is admin. Password, so you can give any password. Okay. Cannot contain slash. Okay, so it should not have the. Okay. Now database size, I want to use the free tier configurations. 20 GB I want to use. Enable storage auto scaling. Auto scaling is nothing but if you want to increase the space as per the requirement. So you are saying 20, up to 1000 GB it can increase. If you want, you can do it. Otherwise, you can no need to select this. Okay, I'm using default VPC, which is get created. Password authentication and create database. So it basically takes some time to create the database. Meanwhile, it will take 5 to 10 minutes. Meanwhile, we can discuss about the we can discuss about the VPC, which is virtual private cloud. So basically what happens whenever we are creating our EC2 instances, so these EC2 instances get created under some data center, right? It get created under some data center, and that data center is nothing but where your systems are basically located. Okay, so say an example, if I'm selecting region North Virginia, and I'm selecting availability zone 1. So this availability zone is my uh, availability zone where my data center or my systems are available, and on those systems my EC2 instances get created. Now here, what I want to do, I want to create my own VPC. V means virtual, P means private, C means cloud. So in VPC, basically what happens in a region. So VPC is basically region wise. So there is a region, and in this region, I want to create some network. So these are my network, and these networks are availability zone wise. So if there are multiple availability zone in one region, so this is 1, this is 2. Then what I can do, I can basically I can create a network between these two, and these subnetwork is called the subnet. This is subnet 1, this is subnet 2, and this can be public or private. If it is private, there is no internet connection. If it is public, then that machine will have the internet connection. Now, when they are talking on the network, they use a route table. Okay, they use a route table. So what is route table? Route table is basically a table where we will have the entries. Entries like, if I say availability zone 1 has some IP address, say 10.0.0.2, it can communicate with availability zone 2, which has address 0.1.2. So that entry should be in the route table. So route table is a virtual table, means it's like a normal table where you have the entry for your communications. So if availability zone systems can communicate to availability zone 2, then that entries should be in the route table. Okay, so let us see how it get created. So we can see here it is still creating. So what I will do, I will go to the search. It comes under the networking VPC. Okay, so here you need to create a, you can go to your VPC, and this is the default VPC which get created. Now I want to create my own VPC. Here you can give the VPC name. So VPC name, I'm saying my VPC. And next is the CIDR range. So CIDR range is nothing but it is something where you define your network IP address range. So say an example, if I say it is 10.0.0.0/16. So it means 16 means all are 8 bits. That's why it is IPv4. So I'm saying 16 means these two can change and other two can be constant. So this is something, a formula which is in the networking. So here I'm saying 888 means 4 times 8. So it means it can have the value which is constant, it is 10.0, other can change. So total IP addresses is 256 into 256. That many IP addresses I can create for this CIDR block. Okay, so let us create this CIDR block. and here I'm giving 10.0.0.0/16. Okay, tenancy, you want it a shared tenancy or dedicated. So if you take the dedicated, it means you need to pay more because the resources will be dedicated to your VPC. Okay, so let me create it. So now you can see VPC is created. Now, because the VPC created, now next, you can see my VPC, and the VPC ID is ended with the 4B, and it's a long one, right? Now next, what I will do, I will create the subnet. So subnet is nothing but I want to create some subnetwork inside it. So I will create a subnet and I will say this is my, you can give any name, but better to give the meaningful name. So here I'm saying my or public, this is my public VPC 1A. Okay, my VPC I'm going to select. Availability zone, I want to create it under 1A. Okay, and the CIDR range should be in this range. So I'm copying this and I'm giving 1.0/24. Okay, create. Okay, so this one subnet 1A public 1A is created. Let me create one private network as well. If I say private 1B, and I want to do it for my VPC, and the range which I want to create 10.0.2.0/16 and create. What happened? Not 16, 24. Okay, so it is created. Two subnet get created. One is public, other is private. Now next I need to create the route tables. In the route table, I will give a route table name. I will create one public route table for my VPC create, and other is private route table. And here I'm selecting this. Okay, so in the one more thing, I want to create internet gateway for my public network. So this one I will remove it. And let me create a new gateway. You can give any name. I'm saying internet gateway 1. Okay, now I want to attach this internet gateway to my VPC. Attach. Okay, so now my internet gateway is attached to my VPC. It means it is for my VPC. I will go to my route table, and for public route table, I will attach my subnet. So here I will click on edit association, and I want to connect the, so this is my public, right? So I will attach the public one, my subnet, and save it. Okay, and also on my private, I will say edit, and I will attach my private one. Okay, and for public, I need to create a route. I want to attach the internet gateway with this. So here I will say 0 point. So this is basically for anywhere, means anyone can access it. And here I'm selecting internet gateway 1. Now this machine is this particular instance route table, it is for public and this is private. They can communicate to each other, but private will not have the public IP address. Okay, so this is done. Now what we will do, we will go back to our EC2 instances. And I will create one EC2 instance, which is for the public subnet and other will be private subnet. So this one we can remove it or leave it like this. I will remove in the end. Here I'm selecting one Amazon Linux, and here I will select my VPC. So here I'm selecting my VPC. Whether you want to select the public or private, I want to select public. Okay, and next is you want to give the IP address. Yes, public IP address. Next, storage, tags, security group. So I want SSH only and launch it. Okay, so this is my instance which is getting created. So here I can give the name public. Public, only public I can give it. Now I want to create another EC2 instance, and for that I will select my private subnet. So here I will select the default instance type, click on next, and here I will select my VPC, and here I will select my private. Okay, so private will have only the private, and that is for the 1B. Okay, that is fine. This is also fine. And launch. That I can say private. Okay, so here on the public, let it come up. Okay, so here you can see it is public and this is private. So private does not have the public IP address, so you cannot access it directly, but public has the public IP address which you can access. So if I go and, or you can connect from here as well. Okay, actually I need to open all the port. I have opened only SSH port. So for this private, let me go to security group. So edit inbound rules. So inbound rules means I want to, you can say all traffic. Okay, and save the rules. Now this particular thing is accessible, so I will go to my machine here. If I say, if I want to check whether it is, so you can see now this machine is up for my public, my VPC only. So it is under my VPC data center, right? So now if I say ping, and if I ping to my private machine, so let us see whether it can ping to that or not. If it is able to ping, it means they can communicate to each other. And the private IP address is this. You can see it is 10.0.2, right? So this is the CIDR range we had given. Now you can see it is receiving the ping response. So it means there is a communication happening between this machine and this machine and the private machine. Right? So this way, basically, we have created our own VPC. Under that VPC, I have created my. Under that VPC, I have created my instances, right? And these instances can communicate to each other. The public one is accessible through browser, and private can have your database kind of stuff, which is basically privately available to your network. Anyone has any doubt, any question? Okay. So let us check our RDS instance, whether it is created or not. I hope it get created by this time. Okay, so if I go to databases, so now you can see it is available. So I can connect it. So what you need to do, just click on this identifier, and here you can see the security group. So we need to open a 3306 port for this. Okay, because so it is having EC2 default. So let us see what is in this security group. Okay, so I have opened all traffic to this security group. Yes, So I have opened all the traffic, but if you want means to add some rule, you can add the rule. So as an example here, you want to add a rule for the MySQL. So MySQL port you want to open. So where is MySQL? Here. Okay, I want to open for anywhere. And you just say save it. So now it is basically having 3306 is explicitly opened. Now from my machine, I want to connect to this server, this RDS server. So how to connect it? For that, you need to have one endpoint. Okay, so I need to have my endpoint, and that endpoint is given in the RDS. So let me go back. So this is the endpoint. So I will copy this endpoint, and port you can see 3306 is required. So if you want to connect to this, so there is a command how to connect with the database that I think I have here. Not here. This is the command. MySQL -h means your host name is this, and admin is the password. Okay, so let me just copy it. And let me keep it into some notepad file so that I can paste it onto my machine. So I'll copy it into some notepad. And I will change this endpoint with this. And I will copy this and I will run it on my machine. So I will run it here. So I will say sudo su. First, let me connect with the root user and let me paste this here. Enter. Okay, we need to install MySQL. So if I say yum install MySQL -y. Now, if I run that command, now you can see it is asking the password which we had given while creating the RDS. So now it is trying to connect to my RDS. Okay, so it is taking some time. What happened? Why it is not connecting? So password I'm giving. I think that password is correct. Okay, just let me check my endpoint. Endpoint is okay. So if I go here, so looks like something is not. So if I ping to this endpoint, let us see ping command is working or not. It is database one only, right? Yes. Okay, so looks like some port is not open. That's why it is not. I have opened all the ports. Default. If I select both, I select one. All traffic is opened. Okay. And for this, okay, so everything looks fine. Then why it is not connecting? If I go to my instances, and if I just check my this security group, actually for here it is not required. So probably actually this is all this should be optional. Okay, so I am entering correct password. Okay, so I'm not sure why it is not working. I think I'm entering the correct password. So you can see it is connected, but there is something wrong. I don't know. I think I lost my password. I had given the same password. I'm not sure, but something get wrong. Probably any step I have missed or so. Here you can create the database if you can see. If you that is not a AWS engineer job, but yes, if you know some SQL related commands, you can test it out. Means whether that your means this I'm creating a test database, create table, etc. Okay, so this is the one more thing. Now, what else we can discuss? Okay, and someone was asking about that Lambda operations. So Lambda is basically your serverless programming. So what is serverless programming? So whenever you are creating an application, that application will get created on some EC2 instance. But that is a fixed thing. You want something which is to be automatically created. You just need to provide some information in the form of API. So what is API? API is application programming interface. And for example, these days when you are developing the application, these applications are having different purpose. For example, if you want to create a application which is weather related, so to create that application, what you need to do, you need to create an API. Okay, you can create a weather API, And that weather API is basically you can access on your mobile application, on your tablet, on your PC, etc. Now, here when you are creating this API, you don't want to provide the Ec2 instance and other security level. There are different verbs we use which we call the get verb. These all are the HTTP verbs, post verb and put verb, delete and deploy. Okay, so these verbs we use to create the API, and API you will write it any programming language like Python or Node.js. Okay, so like that you can create the API, and these APIs are basically use these verbs. And if you want to write the code, there will be one IDE, integrated development environment, which is nothing but the text editor where you can write the code for specified language. So you can create the functions, and through API gateway. So whenever there is a communication happen, so say an example, this mobile application wants to fetch the data of this API, that will be done with the help of the API gateway. So we will create the API gateway which will use either of this method. So get is to retrieve the data, post is to insert the data, put is to update, delete is to delete, and deploy is to deploy to some server. So for that, we basically use the service Lambda. Okay, but for that you need to know how to write the API code, and that you can use it on your uh, Lambda operations or serverless programming. Means if you go to my YouTube channel, I have lot of things related to AWS. I have RDS, I have some S3 events, how to create the S3 events. I have EC2 instances creation, and some more interesting video you will find it out. So you can go through that videos. Lambda, I don't have, I believe. And what you can do, one second, I can do one more thing. If you want to go deep dive into AWS, then I have some recorded videos that is on my Google Drive. So let me share with you guys so that you can take the advantage of that. So if I go to my drive, and if I go to AWS, people click. So I have lot of videos, and these all are related to AWS. Okay, Route 53 auto scaling and CloudFront buckets. Okay, so let me give you this link. And you can download the videos from here. Please check it out and let me know if you don't have the access, that you can check it right away. Otherwise, if you don't have the access, so you can access it through mobile or PC, both the ways. Anyone has any trouble to access this? So you can copy paste it onto somewhere and you can download it whenever you get the time. Okay, Naveen can access it. Okay, so in that case, that's it from this lecture. Anyone has any doubt, any question? AWS is an ocean basically. There are a lot of, I told you, around thousands of services has been defined, and it will keep adding every year. So in my videos, the videos which I have shared with you. So these videos are basically AWS Solution Architect course, that videos it has.
Please be kind enough to like it, and you can comment any of your doubts and queries. We will reply to them at the earliest. Want to study further? Subscribe to our paid membership to get a deep dive into each and every topic. Do look out for more videos in our playlist and subscribe to our DevOps School channel and hit the bell icon to learn more. Keep learning.